Hello everyone, Mike here, and welcome to episode 13 of the Wild Eye Diaries. And it is very good to be back in office, and reason being is that I've just returned from a 2-week safari. The first week took me into the Timbavati, where I hosted a 5-night safari alongside Alistair. And the second week took me all the way across the country to Madikwe Game Reserve, where I hosted a private week at Hunkuru Game Lodge. Spectacular time out in the field, but as I said, it's great to be back. Good to catch up with the team here in the office, and also good to catch up on a bit of the back-end stuff, a lot of admin, and in touch with all of you out there. I'm also very happy to be hosting this episode of the Wild Eye Diaries, and in saying that, let's kick it off with Alistair. And he's just going to provide us with a bit of an update of what he's been up to of late, and also a bit of what is going to be happening in the future as he's traveling to Croatia with his family, and shortly after that heading to Kenya, where he will be taking part in a photo academy, helping the rangers, section rangers within the Mara Conservancy, helping them improve their photography and obviously market the Masai Mara. So let's see what he has to say.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the Wild Eye Diaries, hosted of course by Mike. I believe I'm the first to feature in this week's episode, so what I can tell you is that there's some exciting stuff coming up ahead that Mike has got planned for you, so stay tuned. From my side, it's been quite admin intensive in the office after getting back from back-to-back weeks on safari. I've actually been working quite hard on a project that we've named the Pre-Departure Project, where in essence what we've been able to ensure is that guests prior to going on a safari will get a 2 to 3 page document encompassing all the details about that safari, the area, the climate, whether or not you need malaria, pills, yellow fever vaccinations, etc. What to pack, where the safari starts and ends. So basically a lot of in-depth information that you might not necessarily find on our website will be given to you actually on a number of different occasions before starting that safari. We'd had some of those documents in the past, so I just spent the last couple of weeks cleaning up on the ones that we had, and then obviously developing a bunch of brand new ones for new safaris that have been on our website. So that's pretty cool, and it's kept me really busy, and a couple of the guys in the office have helped me out with that. But yeah, apart from that, my next safari is actually only at the end of June, a little less than a month away actually, where Trevor, myself, Gerry and Jono in fact will be heading to the Masai Mara in Kenya. It'll be myself and Trevor's first time, so I'm really looking forward to that. And we'll be running a wildlife photo academy for the park rangers of the Masai Mara Conservancy. So we're really looking forward to running that. And of course it'll give Trevor and myself an opportunity to see and experience the Masai Mara outside of our typical Masai Mara experience or Great Migration safaris, which is really cool. And then some more news from a private perspective. I'll actually be heading to Croatia with my family. In about 2.5-3 weeks time. We'll be sailing around sort of the Adriatic coastline, which I'm really looking forward to. So it's my dad's 60th birthday, and he's always wanted to do quite a big one for his 60th. So a whole bunch of family and friends, I think there's about 20 of us, are going to be heading over to Croatia and experiencing that coastline for a week, which I'm really looking forward to. So that's pretty much me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of episode 13. Mike's got some pretty cool stuff planned for you, so stay tuned. Thanks again for following, guys, and thanks for all your engagement. We always appreciate it. Thanks very much. Cheers for now.
Thanks so much for that update, Al. It sounds very interesting, and I'm sure you're in for a world of fun. Safe travels, and we'll see you when you get back. Up next, we've got Trevor, who has just recently hosted his very first digital photography course. And by the sounds of it and the feedback that we received, all went very well. And he's going to be giving us a little bit more information as to what the digital photography course is all about. So here we go.
Hi guys, so last week's segment for the Wild Eye Diaries, I briefly touched on the digital photography course that we offer at Wild Eye. And this last weekend, I hosted my very first digital photography course, which I really enjoyed. And it was shared with a great group of people. So I thought in this week, I would just elaborate a little bit more about the digital photography course and what we do on the day. So we generally do one a month. They fall on a Saturday, and they start at 9 o'clock in the morning and they end at around between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We also supply lunch. It's a finger lunch, delicious food, as well as tea and coffee and muffins throughout the day. In terms of the digital photography side of things, it's a great course which has quite a bit of theory as well as practical work involved. We cover quite a bit in terms of the basics of photography, so things like composition, using the rule of thirds, exposure, how your camera generally works, the ins and outs of the mechanism inside the camera itself. And then we do things like shot placement. So there's a number of things that we do within the course, and we go through each section, we bisect the section, we go into detail in the section, and then we go out and we go around the design quarter and practice those very skills that we have just learned in theory. We take it and we practice it in practical form. So it's a great day. If you don't know where our office is, we are situated in shop 111 Design Quarter, which is on the corner of Leslie and William Nicol in Johannesburg. And yeah, it's something that I highly recommend. I also really enjoyed the course, not only from the teaching perspective, but it's also good for us guides to go through every now and then. You know, especially we do a couple of months here and there back in the office. So it's almost like a refresher course. And like I mentioned, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the teaching aspect. And just to see the progress that each individual made on the weekend was really great to see. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing another one in the not so distant future. But if you have any questions regarding the course or any further detail of what we cover in the course, I'll leave my email address here. Drop me an email and I'll gladly get back to you and assist you where I can. But for now, that is my segment for this week's diaries. I hope that you all have had a great week and that you have a wonderful weekend ahead.
Thank you so much for that, Trev. It seems like your day was very successful and that you enjoyed it thoroughly. So well done, and thank you for all the very useful information regarding the digital photography course. Next up, we've got Gerry van der Walt, who is currently hosting our Svalbard photo expedition. And in his segment, he's going to share with all of you a little bit of what Longyearbyen is all about. He will take you around the town and show you a few of the must-see things in the town of Longyearbyen. So enjoy it.
Hey guys, so I'm standing in the middle of Longyearbyen here, and I'm one day out from starting our Svalbard safari or expedition for 2018. Look at that view. And yeah, I'm supposed to send something to Mike for the diary, so this is it. I went on a walk this morning through town with two of the guests that came in earlier. I'm meeting the rest of them in literally like 2 hours from now. But here's just a quick whirlwind look at Longyearbyen early this morning. We went to the museum, had a walk around, and I'll be sharing more videos like this, more vlogs, more trip reports when I'm back. For now, here's just a quick look at what we did this morning. Okay, so this is the lounge area in the Base Camp Explorer up here in Longyearbyen. I'm gonna get some work done before we head out. Probably. And yeah, just show you guys around town. That's outside. Okay. So seriously, from a gearing point of view, the first year I came to Svalbard, I think I was overweight by like 3 kilograms or something. This year I clocked in at about 17, 18 kilograms. So the right gear not only keeps you nice and toasty, but it's actually way less packing. It's cool. Look at the views though. So this is literally the middle of town. I'll show you the miners' statue in front. Svalbard is all based on old mining activity. There's still a couple of active mines on the side as well. So if you do ever join me in this incredible place, you want to make sure you get a full day in this place. There's dog sledding, there's snowmobiling, there's ATVs, there's hikes. Behind me, actually let me show you that. Up back there's two mountains that come together, one from that side, one from that side. And you've got the glacier system up at the top. So you can do hikes up there, but the amount of activities and stuff that you can do, and just basically walk around, grab a camera and walk. You're the most northern town in the world. It's just special all the time, hey? So there I am. That's the statue of the miner that is literally downtown. What we often do is when we walk around, we'll meet at the statue, or over here, just behind me on this side, is Cafe Fruin. Very nice coffee shop. It's great. That's pretty cool, eh? We're heading down. It's a bit cold, okay? It's heading down to the building in front is the Svalbard Museum. It's one of the must visits in the place. It gives you a very good understanding of the context of this place and how harsh an environment it really is. So I'll show you some of this now.
Je hebt een eindje natuurlijk. Die is een hele porkje.
Mining in the old days was proper hardcore, eh? Hell no. The cool thing with the museum here is it gives you such an incredible appreciation of the place and the history of the place. It's spectacular. Most of it's not based on the wildlife, but they obviously show you things here. Okay. They're not quite like Egyptian geese, but yeah, I don't like Egyptian geese. Family of reindeer. And then of course there's this guy. It was great to be able to see just a size point of view of these things. Special, hey? Puffins. Very cool. So yeah, I'm going to walk around a little bit more and then head back out in the cold and go look for hot chocolate. So one of the interesting things about this place is there are actually, if you look behind me, all the snowmobiles. There are more snowmobiles in Longyearbyen than there are people, by about double. There's about 2,000 people that live here permanently. There is about 4,000 snowmobiles. Anyway, that's a very kind of short version for my diaries, and so just to kind of a look around. It's only been a couple of hours for us walking around here. It is truly spectacular. Next week, I'm not sure what I'll have for you guys. I'm going to try and send something through, but otherwise I'll catch you when I'm back in South Africa. Special. If you're looking for an adventure, this is it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. I'm in the Arctic. See you guys soon.
Thank you so much for that piece of content, Gerry. Absolutely great update. And for these of you like myself who have not yet visited Longyearbyen or Svalbard, I sure did get a true feeling as to what this little town has to offer. It seems amazing, and I really do hope your safari is running smoothly. And up next, we have not two new faces, but two faces that aren't too familiar when it comes to the Wild Eye Diaries. We're going to be chatting to Jono and Tammy, as they have just returned from Kenya. And the reason for their visit was a bit of a shopping spree and also a site visit to our very new semi-permanent campsite. So I'm sure they're going to tell us a lot more about that.
Hi, morning all. I'm Jono from Wild Eye. Good to be part of the Wild Eye Diaries. I think this is my first insert, and I'd like to introduce you to my colleague Tammy. Tammy looks after our operations and logistics, and very involved in the logistics for our forthcoming Mara safaris. As you all know, we've been granted a seasonal site in the Mara Triangle, and there's new exciting additions that we've made to the camp. So hopefully the guests have joined us in the past and will be joining us this year. We'll be very well surprised. We're greatly surprised with the additions that we're going to be making. I'm not going to tell you too much about that to keep it a surprise. So a few weeks back, Tammy and I went to Kenya. We spent 3 days in Nairobi, about combined 25 hours of shopping for new furniture, for the camp, and a couple of other additions, sourcing new vehicles, sorting out the new vehicles with Banks and the guy that's going to be doing the fabrication. So yeah, very busy 3 days in Nairobi. Tammy, you've been to Nairobi before?
I have. However, this was a whole new experience. I absolutely loved the buzz of the city, but when the Wild Eye team was telling me about the traffic, now I've experienced it and I know all about it, especially when you're having to go from one side of Nairobi to the other. It's what should be a 20-minute drive turns into 2 hours. Having said that, watching all the vehicles that are driving by, what are the vehicles called? Tuk-tuks and matatas, and the way they're decorated. I mean, it's an incredible experience. But yeah, working with the team or getting to know the team, the Kenyan-based team, Billy, Isaac, Dixon, Tenke, and the guides themselves as well, was an amazing experience. Yeah. So it was a full spectrum, fast-paced trip for me. And then of course having the privilege to go to the Mara and seeing where the new site is going to be, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, no, the new site is incredible. I'm sure we've shared the details of the new site on our social media platforms. Gerry's put out a lot of stuff on it, and the other guys have as well. One of the big things that we wanted to check was the condition of that site. Just to give you a bit of insight, they've had an enormous amount of rain. I'm sure you've read it up in the press. There's been floods in Kenya. So we're a bit concerned about the impact that the floods would have had being right on the banks of the Mara River on the camp. There's parts of the river where the river's actually burst its banks. There's one of the previous sites that we went to called Dorisha, and that's like literally the river's broken down a whole section of that site, broken the banks, and a lot of the banks have collapsed, and it's the river's taken on a new path. So we went to the camp on the third day that we were in the Mara, and pleasantly surprised that there was zero impact or zero damage on the site. So Tammy got to see the site. We once again worked through the positioning of the tents and the new additions that we're going to be making. There's going to be, besides additions, there's going to be a whole lot of camp improvements that we've decided upon. So it was great to spend time in the field, not only with Jimmy and Sammy and Isaac and Francis and Tenke, but to show Tammy the Mara. Your first impressions of the Mara?
I find myself being quite embarrassed having to explain, because it's something that you have to see.
Okay.
But
Take note, you've got to see it.
absolutely. It's an incredible thing to imagine a place. Right now, the migration's obviously not there yet. So, I mean, just to imagine what it's going to look like in a couple of weeks' time is pretty incredible. But even on its own, the incredible scenery, the skies, the clouds, and then seeing those animals in that scenery, it's just mind-blowing and like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah, I think the big thing that struck me, and we've often spoken about Mara in the green season, is obviously there's been a lot of rain, there's a lot of grass. It does make photography a little bit more difficult, but the sightings were still incredible. But the drama on some of the images we were able to take of big male lions with these dramatic skies was incredible. We did have a bit of rain there. We photographed buffaloes in the rain. That was quite cool. And we got to see Scar, which Tammy was very lucky.
In the dying moments, the most amazing sighting.
Whenever I go to the Mara, I normally see Scar on the last day. So it's good to see him, but I would certainly have liked to have spent more time with him. We had an incredible sighting with him and the four musketeers, as they're known, together walking through the open plains. Unbelievable sighting, not great photographically, but to see the big guy looking good, and because he's, I think, with his coalition of males, they obviously are moving between prides of females. He's going to be well looked after and fed well, so I hope he's got a few more years left in the old guy. So great to see him. From a point of view of our safaris to the Mara, we're kicking off, and it's a little over a month. And as per usual, no matter how much we plan, it's always quite a rush to get everything done. But we're on track, and by the time we start our safaris on the 23rd of June, we've got an exciting new venture that, in conjunction with Olympus and the Mara Conservancy Rangers, we're putting a photo academy together, and we'll obviously share more of that as we go along. And that kicks off on the 23rd of June through to the 28th of June, and then our Mara Experience Safari start from 29th of June through to the end of July, and then our Migration Safari start beginning of August through to first week in October, and then we start off again with our Masai Mara Experience Safaris up until the end of November. Bookings have been great. We're very blessed, and we'd like to thank all of you that have booked with us, and for those that haven't, we're going to be there for a long time. So 2019, 2020 would be a good idea to experience an incredible wildlife destination and a great camp, great staff. So all in all, a very successful trip to Kenya. Had a lot of fun, a lot of work, but very excited for the new season, and I'm sure that all our guests that are going to be joining us are going to be blown away by the additions. So without further ado, I'm going to say cheers now, and we'll catch up with you when we're in the Mara and in June, July. Cheers.
Done.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for that, Jono and Tammy. It sounds like you guys had an absolute blast, and it's always fun catching up with the team in East Africa. And coming up next is Marlon du Toit. He is off on Saturday to host a private guided safari in Zambia. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about his up-and-coming adventure.
So I have been in the Wild Eye office for too long now. I think everyone's getting tired of me, and I think it's time to get out into the field again. Fortunately, on Saturday I leave for Zambia. I'm going to be taking a guest on a private safari experience to the Lower Zambezi National Park, staying at Old Mondoro, and then on to Kaingo Camp in South Luangwa. Now, South Luangwa I know pretty well, but I've never been to the Lower Zambezi National Park, and I'm very excited about that. Enjoy this next clip with me. I'm going to be sharing a few experiences from South Luangwa with you, and I will catch up again next week. Goodbye.
so much for that information, Marlon. And by the sounds of things, you are in for one incredible adventure. We wish you safe travels, best of luck, and we do look forward to hearing the updates once you're back in office. Up next, we've got Johan van Sail, who is currently hosting a private guided safari in Tswalu. And what I've seen on social feeds this far, it looks like it is one incredible safari so far. So, up next is his live update from the field.
Hey everybody. Okay, so I'm currently at Tswalu. I'm busy hosting a 5-night private safari, focusing mainly on rare stuff like pangolin and aardvark, those kind of things. I'm here for 5 nights. We're into night 2 now. Some amazing dog sightings so far. Had fresh pangolin tracks this morning, didn't find it, but heading back there this afternoon. My Wi-Fi or reception is very slow, so I'm going to give you guys a full update during the next episode of the Wild Eye Diaries. So, nice and short one from me. I look forward to catching up with you guys next week, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Cheers, bye.
Brilliant update, Johan. Thank you so much for sharing that, and best of luck for the remainder of your days out in Tswalu. We're wishing you best of luck and safe travels, and we look forward to seeing the update soon. Last but not least is Andrew Beck, and he's going to be chatting a rough outline of the recent travel itineraries that we've put together for guests in the past week.
Hi guys, so for this week I thought I would share a little bit more of what's been happening on our travel side of things. So to give you an idea of the kind of itineraries that we are currently helping people to plan already and that we want to do more of in the future. So the first one, and I'm pretty sure that the people who've booked this itinerary are watching, starts off with 4 nights in Madikwe Game Reserve. So these guests are flying in from the UK, they connect on the first day, fly straight into Madikwe around lunchtime, and will have their first afternoon game drive. They spend 4 nights here at Motswiri Safari Lodge in the center of Madikwe. Then they fly back to Joburg, will do an overnight stay at the City Lodge OR Tambo, because the next morning they fly from there up to Livingston, where they'll spend 2 nights at Tokalea Lodge. Here they'll enjoy the Victoria Falls from the Zambian side. They can do game drives in the Masai Mara National Park. And then after 2 nights here, they transfer across into Zimbabwe to Victoria Falls, and then board a flight from there down south to Wangi National Park, where they'll spend another 3 nights at Davison's camp in the heart of one of the most productive game viewing areas in Wangi. It's the same area that we use for our Wangi safari as well as our Wangi Lion Conservation Safari. From there, they fly back to Victoria Falls and fly straight from Victoria Falls back to Johannesburg and connect out that same evening back to the UK. We've taken care of absolutely everything for them from the moment they land at OR Tambo International. Another itinerary that we put out this week is for a guest who's been wanting to combine Mana pools with Londolozi. Now, it may sound like 2 completely different experiences from a luxury and accommodation side of things, but this is more about game viewing than anything else. So for the Mana pools portion, we've booked them into the African Bush Camp Zambezi Expeditions Camp. So this is located on the banks of the Zambezi River. She'll spend 3 nights here, and then 1 night at Kanga Camp, which is a little bit further inland, very similar to our extended Mana Pool Safari. And then she'll fly from here back to South Africa via Harare, and then connect the next morning into Londolozi, where she'll spend 5 nights, in the lap of luxury at one of the Londolozi camps, at Founders Camp. Game viewing in Londolozi, as you know, it's synonymous with leopards, but the accommodation, the attention to detail, and the overall experience for guests is just incredible, and that's why they have so many repeat guests and why we receive so many repeat guests wanting to go back to this incredible camp. So those are just 2 examples of the kind of itineraries that we're helping people put together. We will tailor-make a package to suit your needs in terms of your travel dates, your budget, and the experiences. And that's the most important thing, is what is it that you want to experience? We will make sure that we put you in the right place to get that experience at the right time of year. So if you have any travel inquiries that we could assist you with, drop us a line, travel@wildeye.co.za, or you can hit me up personally, andrew@wildeye.co.za, and we will get you guys into your dream destination. That's it from me this week. Next week, I'll be sharing a little bit more ahead of my Botswana safari. So very excited to be heading off into the field. We're going to be in Botswana in the Okavango Delta for 9 nights with 4 guests, and look forward to telling you a little bit more about that in the new week. Cheers.
Thank you so much for that information, Andrew. Interesting indeed. And with that, the Wild Eye Diaries episode 13 draws to an end. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have, and we look forward to seeing you in the future episodes. For now, goodbye.